So who is the Q Follow for? And let's address the elephant in the room. This thing costs around $3 grand. So you've got to be a pretty serious walker and have the change to spare to be able to afford this thing. So the typical golfer who buys a Q Follow plays 2 to 3 times per week, obviously has money to spare. They appreciate premium equipment. It is not for the bargain hunter at all. It does fine on hilly courses. The one thing you have to look out for is that on steep declines, it doesn't have automatic traction control like the VERTX, so it will get away from you, like pick up speed and roll out, just because it doesn't have that traction control. So you have to have a lot of run out when you get down the hill. If you hit the stop button, if it picks up too much speed, and I try this, it'll just lock the wheels up and slide a little bit. But you don't want to be doing that. I think it excels on flatter courses. It's okay on hillier courses if you account for the steep down slopes or avoid them at all costs. Again, not for bargain hunters. If you play and walk often and the money's not a problem, this thing is going to be with you for a while. All right, what exactly is follow mode and how does it work? So with the Q Follow, what you do is, and I've already turned this on, turned the battery on, the remote is connected to the Q Follow via Bluetooth, so it's ready to go. So what it does is you attach the remote to yourself after engaging the follow button, and the Q Follow follows you around the golf course. Now this is only recommended for open areas and fairways, not parking lots, not going down cart paths, although you can if there's no traffic around, not around greens, not around tight spots, and definitely not where intricate navigation is required, and you'll see just how in a second. So let me activate it and give you a brief demonstration. I'll show you some on-course examples of this in just a minute. There's what's called a neutral zone around the cart. It's around 20 centimeters or 20 inches, 50 centimeters. And to get it to follow you, hit the follow button and attach it to your back pocket or your belt right here. And you want to walk in a pretty much a straight line right in front of the cart so it cinches you and follows the remote. And it'll just follow unless it gets kind of stuck like this. And you'll notice I'm now in the neutral zone, so it will stop immediately when I enter the neutral zone. When I walk away outside the neutral zone, then it senses that I'm outside the neutral zone, it picks me up and it'll walk with me. Now, naturally, this operates better with a bag on it to weigh it down. But you can see this, and you don't want to do tight turns. It's sensing me, sensing me, sensing me. Okay, so you see this, it comes, and if I stop, it stops. Like it slams the brakes and it stops. If I go again, it's tracking me. Okay, so you can see why Stewart Golf says do this in wide open fairways, not in tight spaces. There, it's sensed me, and now to stop it and get it out of follow mode, you hit the stop button, no more follow. And that's basically how follow works. And so when you're coming up to the green or to hit a shot, you can pull this off. You're at your ball, stick it here. So this is in the neutral zone, it's not going to go anywhere. Hit your shot, pick this up, tag it, put it on your back pocket or your belt, then walk in a straight line from the Q Follow, and it will pick you up and follow you to your next shot. All right, I'm using the follow feature from the Q Follow. Here that thing is behind me, tracking me down a cart path, which Stewart recommends against because out of an abundance of caution. And I'm going to take this thing on the path into the fairway. Again, they really don't recommend that, but I'm going to do it. All right, so how does the Q Follow handle in follow mode on the cart path, going at my hilly course, down a hill, into the fairway, down the fairway, up more hills, and down again? I'd say flawlessly, beautifully. I just walked up my normal pace the entire time. It just kept this little distance behind me the entire time. When I went down a steep hill or embankment, it sped up, and once it got in the safety zone, it just locked those rear wheels and just stopped in place. Once I walked again, it walked with me. It performs beautifully in follow mode. This thing is awesome, especially follow mode. I love it. All right, this is more Q Follow following me. This is me walking backwards. This is the Q Follow doing the follow thing. Just walking at a normal pace. I'm about to go up and over some hills here. I'm trying to keep walking backwards just so you can see a good view of the Q Follow following and in action. Okay, here we go up a hill. You can see it tipping back and those rear stabilizer wheels kicking into action and keeping it grounded and still moving forward. Do a return here into the 9th fairway at Houston National. All the way back to the parking lot. You can see as it senses me, it wants to slide and pick up speed, but it sensed me and stopped. So that's the safety feature. You can see again, it catches itself once I'm in the safety zone. And we're down the hill on a cart path. And now it's just following me. Now, to be clear, again, Stewart does not recommend you use it this way. I want you to get in the open fairway and then use the follow feature. But I'm taking it beyond what they say just to see the limits of what it can do. And it's done everything I've asked of it. I'm going down a cart path. Now, I wouldn't do that with oncoming traffic, as I've said before. Down a steep hill, way down the fairway, a few hundred yards, up more hills, down other hills. Does everything. It follows you. Hands-free beauty. All right, so let's talk about material quality and build quality for the Q Follow. As you can see, this thing is a load. It looks like a tank, kind of rides like a tank. This is some heavy-duty plastic, pretty heavy-duty rubber wheels, and you can see the motors and stuff are no joke. This thing is, I mean, plastic isn't that heavy. It's the guts and the machinery that really power this thing that are so heavy and so substantial. I'm gonna do this without, yeah. So when you have to operate this thing in, say, manual mode, or you just wanna move it real quick. So this base is so heavy and this is so sleek, and it's intentionally kind of slim and minimal. You can rack this thing. It's never really an issue, but that's like the only thing that even resembles or makes you think, oh, it's not super solid, but it's not supposed to be. It didn't have to be, because you're not really supposed to be wrenching and turning this thing very much either way. I mean, these rubber straps are super thick. I mean, they're never going anywhere, ever. Like I said already, these wheels are rubber, these wheels are rubber. They're thick, and you can get replacement wheels too. I don't imagine you will need those for a while. The battery itself, they have a 27-hole version and a 36-hole version. I think now they call the 27-hole 270 watts, and the 36-hole version is 307 watts. There's an app for the battery. There's an app for each battery, so one app doesn't cover two batteries. Make sure you get the 27-hole app if you have the 27-hole battery and whatnot. You can monitor the charge anytime, just if you're wondering how much you have left. Super well made, super sleek. Really nice fit and finish with quality materials. This thing is really, really built to last. All right, so what's my final verdict on the Q Follow? Admittedly, I don't have a ton of experience with electric golf trolleys. The only other one I've tested is the VERTX from Stewart Golf. So I'm starting kind of with the top of the market. So, you know, my judgment or my opinions might be a little bit skewed. So the VERTX looks identical to this, operates the same except it doesn't have follow mode. It has that traction control, which is awesome going downhill. And I never knew that trolleys got away from you. But with the VERTX, it goes at a steady speed up and down those hills. It never gets away from you. This one will get away from you. It goes up the hills the same as the VERTX. It's got the rear stabilizer wheels, so if it gets too steep, it just hits the wheels and keeps going. At a $3,000 price point, I admit I don't walk enough and I don't have many walkable courses around me, so this isn't, it would be a luxury for someone in my position or for the courses I play. But there are places around the country and there are courses that are just made for walking, and I would like to walk more often, but I don't. I can't, or I don't. So if you walk often and money's not a problem, it's a fine machine, no doubt about it. If you play flatter courses, it's even a better deal for you because it lacks the traction control on the downhill slopes. All in all, very solid machine, great reputation, great service after the sale. Stewart Golf is a UK company, but they have a service center in Houston, Texas, which happens to be where I live. So you're covered that way. Solid machine if you've got the money and you're not a bargain hunter and you walk a lot, or if you just want it and you have the money, it's a fine machine. I don't think you'll be disappointed.